Your career started really young.
I was gifted.
Yeah. Same. That's why I got you here. I just gravitate to the gifted women. Because at 21, well, you went to Bathurst and studied in
Yes.
Bathurst. So many newsreaders and weather people go to Bathurst to study.
It's the Mitchell Mafia. I'm originally from the country, so,
Right.
I went to school in Sydney, and then I always, this is bizarre, I dreamed of being a journalist from about the age of 3. I always wanted to be a journalist. I was always
Really?
asking questions.
Yeah,
Never take
right.
no for an answer.
Yeah.
Difficult child. Gifted though,
Yeah,
gifted.
totally.
Not difficult. And so from that, I just loved telling stories, and I just loved writing. So for me, it was about following that passion. I never wanted to be on television.
Right.
And then once I got to uni, I always wanted to be a print journalist, write for newspapers and things. And as soon as I saw the power of television
Right.
with images, I was forever taken away. And, also in regards to being a newsreader, never wanted to be a newsreader.
Right.
Just wanted to be a journalist. Loved
Yeah,
being
right.
out on the road, loved meeting wonderful characters and telling great stories, and Prime TV in Orange, I worked for this wonderful boss, Peter Andren, who's the best mentor I've ever had. And he just said, oh, look, the newsreader is sick. We're going to have to throw you in, and can you do updates that day? So I just did
Wow.
updates and didn't have time to think about it. Then when I moved to Darwin and worked with the ABC,
At only 21.
at 20 I moved to Darwin.
So young.
I was crazy. I had never even, I don't think I'd travelled that extensively at that age. And I just thought this
Travelled extensively to Darwin.
Yeah. Hello. Have you been to Darwin?
Yeah, once.
Yes. It's like being overseas. It's a different
No, you're right.
frontier.
You're totally right.
And for me, it was like, I was just like, this is an amazing adventure. This is such a great opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take it and grab it
Totally.
with both hands. So there was one afternoon where our lovely newsreader, Rosemary Church, who now works for CNN, she used to suffer terribly from migraines, and I had about 15 minutes notice, and they said,
Wow.
you're going to have to read the news. And I went, you're joking, aren't you? And they said, no. So I went in there and read the bulletin at 21, and I was shaking so profusely.
Wow.
They had to do a kind of really, really tight shot because my hands were shaking so much.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
But that was the best way to do it because I didn't have time to think
Yeah,
about
because
it.
if you had had more time to think about it, you probably would have freaked out.
Oh, my
even
goodness.
more. So at 21, you are delivering, it was a national bulletin too, wasn't it?
Yes, and then we used to do international news, which was Australia television news into Asia. So then Mum and Dad could watch it back here.
Yeah, right.
So they used to stay up till 1 o'clock every morning and watch me read
Oh,
the news.
babe.
Bless them. Yeah.
So you've done so much live television. Has there ever been times where you're like, oh, I've really fucked this. I can't bring this back in.
How much time have we got?
Yeah, we've got enough time.
Oh, look, I do think, I was only chatting about this before, is I think because we've changed so dramatically in news, before, even say 10 years ago, we had quite conventional news bulletins that were locked in and not a lot changed.
Right.
And you could fluff your way a fair bit back then because
Okay.
everything was heavily scripted. Now everything is about focused on breaking news, and you really
Right.
need to know your stuff.
Yeah.
So often there's no auto cue, there are no scripts, and you really have to know what's happening with breaking news. When we called the election, when Prime Minister Kevin Rudd called the election late last year, we went on air for 3 hours
Yeah.
with no scripts.
Really?
And I love that because there is nothing like being part of history as it's unfolding,
Yeah,
and you just have to
right.
go with it and you don't know what's going to happen.